something I deem as simplistically profound. She says, because God is great and greatness exudes from him, we are therefore encouraged to expect greater. In other words, his reputation alone should supersede your reality. His word and his work well outweighs your world or your world view. And the problem with many of us is that we've reduced God to the sum of our experiences. Watch this, he's no longer the God of creation. He's the God that we created. Because we've reduced him to the sum of our experiences. So, beloved, because he is the truth, the way, and the life, that suggests to me that the truth of who he is should shape the way that I see him and the way that I live my life. If I'm shaped in the image and likeness of my daddy, shouldn't I be able to do some of the things that my daddy can do? Jesus says, and I quote, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, watch this, and even greater works than these. Somebody shout, expect greater. Expect greater. Expect greater. I understand that where you come from is where you come from, and that you've been shaped by your reality. But God says, expect greater. I understand that nobody in your family has amassed what you see, but because you don't see it, don't mean you won't see it. Somebody said, expect. I know you've never seen anybody do what you're trying to do. Somebody said, expect greater. I know, but nobody has ever even poured these things into you. But that don't mean it won't come out of you. Somebody say, expect. You've never seen somebody get married and stay married. But in your marriage, I came to decree and declare that in your marriage, expect greater. Somebody say, expect greater. The text says, immediately, he made the disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side. He made the disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side. That's crazy. He made the disciples get in the boat and go before him to go to the other side. All right, here it is. Can I suggest to you that there will be some things that God will send you? He's going to send you out. But please know, as he sends you out, he has already prepared the way. He sent them out before him. In other words, I want y'all to go ahead and get a head start. And trust me, I've already prepared the way to handle your arrival. For somebody in this room, I need to hurry up and let you know that where you're going, you may not look like it, but God has already peppered the way for your presence. God has already opened the door for your arrival. God is already fixing up your plate. He's already established. It ain't your resume. It's the fact that God has sent you out. It ain't who you know. It's the fact that God has sent you out. It's some things that are getting ready to happen for you in this season. That it has nothing to do with how cold you are. It has nothing to do with how much you think you know. It has nothing to do with how much money you have. It's because God has sent you out. So he made the disciples go in the boat and go before him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. And after he had dismissed the crowd, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When the evening came, he was alone. This is text. He was alone, but the boat by that time was a long way away from the land, beaten by the waves. The wind was against them. The New Living Translation states the disciples who were a long way from the land were fighting strong winds and heavy waves, and they were in trouble. In a very real sense, they were in the middle of a storm. God sent them before him, which means he wasn't physically with them. He sent them before him, but he was not physically with them. He sent them before him, but he was not physically with them. Just because you don't see him moving don't mean he ain't moving. In a very real sense, they were in the middle of a storm. And the reality of the moment is that their lives were in danger. They did not know if they would survive the night. They did not know if they would ever see their family or their loved ones again. They did not know if they had eaten their last meal or not. They did not know if they were getting prepared to breathe their last breath or not. And I'm sure that in that moment, they did not know if getting on this boat and following Jesus would work out in their favor or would it get them killed. Come on, y'all got to get in this boat with me. They did not know if following Jesus would work in their favor or would it get them killed. They didn't know. Let me come to you where you are. They didn't know if starting this church was going to work out in their favor or was it going to get them. They did not know if joining this church was going to work. They didn't know. But can I suggest to you that you don't have to know everything? But if you trust God, that's all you need. I wish there were 5 people that are members of this church would jump up on your feet and just show your pastor that you trust God. That your steps have been ordered. That he has prepared the way for you. And that you believe God to do what she believes God to do. So the truth of the matter is that many of us are just like the disciples. We don't know. And the reality is that life may not be going according to our preferences. Even now, you're trying to figure out how exactly did you get in this position. You didn't plan for it. You didn't prepare for it. Matter of fact, you even tried to prevent it. Some of us are even more perplexed because the only reason that you're in this predicament is because God said go and you went. The only reason why you're in the predicament that you're in is because God told you to go and you went. The only reason you're in the predicament that you're in is because God told you to do it and you did it. When God said go, you didn't know what that. When God said go, you didn't know that it meant to go through it. You heard go, but you didn't hear the rest of it. You didn't hear go through it. Can I encourage you for a moment? David says, yea, though I walk. Yea, though I walk. Okay. To walk to is my final destination. To walk through means I might meet some adversity, but I'm not staying there. To walk through may be some seasons of brokenness, but I'm not staying there. To walk through I might come against some haters, but I'm not staying there. To come through, I may have seasons of uncertainty, but I'm not staying there. Because where you're going, I told you already, God has prepared a place for you. And sometimes in order to get to it, you got to be willing to walk through it. In order to get, I wish I had help. In order to get to it, you must be willing to walk through it. Is there anybody in this room that said, I've gone through the hill, I've gone through the valleys, I've gone through good days, I've gone through bad days, but I trust God. reason you're in this place is because God told you to go and you went. But by now, hear me, you've gone too far to turn around. You've invested too much to turn back. At this point in your life, you're in too deep. And yet, with all this uncertainty, here is one thing that I'm certain of. The text says, in the fourth watch of the night. I wish I had a shouting church. The text says, in the fourth watch of the night. In other words, do me a favor. Look at somebody on your row and say, not only am I expecting greater, but I came to expect God. I wish I had a shouting church. I came to expect God. David says, they are walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I fear no evil. Why? Because thou art with me. See, when there is a through, there is a thou. There's a through, there is a, David said, yea, do I walk through, thou art with me. I wish I had somebody here. I need you to understand that thou art with you. That his rod and his staff, they comfort you. In the midnight hour, he is with you. Look at somebody say, expect God. Expect God. Listen, you just said a mouthful, but I don't think you heard what you just said. Expect God. Listen, God likes your expectation. He likes the expectation. He wants you to call him out for what he said he is. So I've learned to pray this way. God, I'm not telling you what I want you to do. I'm repeating what you said. You said, by your stripes, I'm healed. I didn't ask you that. You told me that. You said that I'm the head and not the tail. I didn't say that. You said that. You said that I'm above and not beneath. You said that. You said that that I shall lend and not borrow. That's what you said. So I've learned to throw back God's word instead of worrying. And so when I'm in the valley of the shadow of death, I'm not tripping because I expect God. The Hebrew said, man, y'all can throw us in that fire all you want. Because if you throw me in there, it's all good. Because we expect God. And the truth is, look, this is the thing I don't like about church folk. We love to come to church and have a good time, shout, but as soon as life happens, we ready to commit suicide, throw in the towel, because we like to shout God, but we don't expect God. Now, if I get up and say, God said He finna pay all y'all light bill, everybody gonna go crazy. Oh my God! Expect God. And you have to learn. Listen. So okay. So everybody's so grown. I think we've been grown so long that it's messed us up. I like kids, because kids will do this all day long. I don't mean to grab on your wife's thigh. The little dude that did it. Okay. Where your wife so I can grab on her thigh? Look, he gave her away for 2 minutes. For 2 minutes. All right, go ahead. We're here, dog. We're here. Kid, look, he gave her away, Charlie. Go ahead and grab her. Hold up. Oh, you straight. Your suit won her. It's all good. Kids will grab on you until they get your attention. Y'all been grown too long. Kids will grab on you until they get, and you just, what? Because they going to pull until they push you into action. And we've been grown so long that we just accept. We accept what the enemy is allowing us to deal with. Where God is saying, all I need you to do is just keep pulling on me. Pull on my glory. Pull on the miracles. Pull the virtue out of me. That's what the woman did. The woman said, I don't need nobody to pronounce nothing on me. I'm just going to pull on your coattail until the miracle happens. I wish there was 5 people in this room who will pull on God. I'm sick of dealing with my issue. I'm not bleeding for 12 years. I'm not dealing with depression for 12 more years. I'm not dealing with suicidal thoughts for 12 more years. I'm not dealing with my stuff for 12 years. I came to pull on the coattail of God. I came to expect God for greater. You got to learn how to pull on God. So after Jesus shows up on the scene and speaks according to the text, Peter said, Lord, if it's you, command me to come to you on the water. So please, sir, please, ma'am, lest you miss the magnitude of this moment, it is a must. It is a must that you realize that this request came from the mouth of Peter and not Jesus. Unless you miss the magnitude of this moment, it is a must that you realize that this request came from Peter and not Jesus. It's significant because consistently the Bible is filled with instances in which it is God who is asking us to do the impossible. Moses, even though he was on the run from Egypt, God says, I need you to go back to Egypt and deliver the people from Pharaoh's hand, which seemed impossible. Noah, I need you to build an ark. And not only do I want you to build an ark, I want you to get all the animals 2 by 2 and bring them into the ark. That was a task that seemed impossible. Gideon, I know that you're already outnumbered, but take 32,000 of your men. Oh, scratch that. Don't take 32,000. Take 10,000. Oh, scratch that. Don't take 10,000. Take 300. You're already well outnumbered, but take 300 people and go to battle. Let's go to war, Gideon. Impossible. Abraham, I know you don't know me, but leave your father's house. Go to a country that you've never been to with no directions, no GPS, and I'll let you know when you made it, when you make it. Woman of God, start a church during a pandemic, and I'm going to let you know when you're going to get to where you're going to. Somebody shout, impossible. Married, have a baby, but when you get impregnated, it won't be through the act of intimacy. And you're going to have a husband who can't touch you. Impossible. So God has a history of asking us to do the impossible. But here it is in this text. It's not Jesus speaking. It's Peter praying, God, allow me to do the impossible. Lord, if it's really you, command me to do what nobody else has ever done. Make possible the thing that is impossible. Did you hear what I just said? Make possible that which has been deemed impossible. Make possible the thing that has been deemed impossible. Can I suggest to you that the reason why we may not have all that we have or can have is because our requests are too small. In this season, I need you to hear me, enlarge your asking capacity. The reason why we don't have all that we can have is because our ask is too small. What does it mean to enlarge your asking capacity? It means that many of your prayers, hear me, many of your prayers are entirely too meager. When we say stuff like, Lord, help me get through the day. Lord, help me make it through the day. That's way too small. When really what we should be doing is commanding the day. Lord, if you can get me through this moment, I'm believing God not for a moment. I'm believing God for crazy momentum. Enlarge your asking capacity. What we're believing God is entirely too small. Now, manage your moment, but understand that this moment has an end. This ain't what God promised you. So I'm in a point where I'm kind of battling my team right now because I bless God for the little space that we're in. Thank God for it. But from a leader perspective, I'm like, I thank God for this space. Thank God that we have a place to worship. Thank God that we got a spot to call our own. But that ain't it. It's not it. I want to manage the moment, but what I see, my vision is bigger than what we have now. Thank God for what we have now, but I'm believing God for greater. Like, I thank God for what I see, but I haven't seen what I've seen. There are some people who are satisfied. Can I say it? Too many of us in this room are satisfied with just a little bit that we have. When the little success that you have had, God expects more for you. So let me give you Psalms 81:10. He says, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt. Watch what he says. He says, open your mouth and I will fill it. So open your mouth wide and I will fill it. So open your mouth wide and I will fill it. In other words, ask me for big things. Open your mouth as wide as you can. I can handle that. You're asking for things that are entirely too small for the living capacity that God has placed for you. What you've seen God do is cool, but that ain't all He's going. That's not all He wants to do for you. Increase your asking capacity. I say, y'all want a bigger band? Put some instruments in here. You want more participation? It's practical leadership. Already create some areas in which you want people to feel. Don't wait until you get people. Create vision that attach people to. If you wait on people, you'll be waiting forever. Write the vision and make it plain. All the organizations that you want, this is practical leadership. All the capacities that you want, greeters, media, musicians, create all of those things and attach people to them. Because before you can move in the house has to be built. Before you can move in, you have to have a stable house. You got to have a house that they can move in. So you as the leader has to create organizations that they can attach themselves to. Because God will send you, watch this, God will send you people when you prepare for them. Because people too soon will mess you up. Can I be real? Because people lie to pastors all the time. Ooh, pastor, you bless me. But their giving statement don't say the same. Ooh, pastor, you bless me. But on Wednesday night, they don't show up. Ooh, pastor, you bless me. But they don't support no vision. So you can never build your stuff around people. Build your stuff around vision. I may as well talk to you because they ain't talking to me. The text says, he says, so come. Peter says, can I come to you? If it's you, let me come to you on the water. He says, well, come on. So Peter got out of the boat and he walked on the water and came to Jesus. That's courageous, Peter. That's courageous in and of itself. However, if you just see this as an action, then you miss it. Peter getting out of the boat was not just, hear me, was not just about being different. It lets them know that Peter had made a decision. It wasn't just about being different. It's that Peter had made a decision. He believed that what he asked for was actually going to happen. Somebody shout expectation. Can I suggest to you that expectation requires preparation? I believe what prepared Peter for this moment were the moments that preceded it. What prepared Peter, Charlie, for this moment were the moments that preceded it. Because they seen, hear me, because they seen, that baby ain't bother me, because they seen what he has done, he believed what he could do. That's why the psalmist says, when I look back over my life and I think things over, or let's go Bible. David says, I once was young, but now I'm old, but I've never. What prepared Peter for that moment were the moments that preceded it. And can I argue with you that whatever you believe God for in the future, he's already given you faith for it in the past. Here's what I'm saying. You're more prepared for it than you know. When he healed you of the small thing, lets you know that he's the same God who can heal you in this thing. What he prepared for you in that thing lets you know that he can prepare for you in this next coming thing. What he did for you was an indicator of what he wants to do for you. So I've learned, I'm just talking about me now, I've learned that it always works out. When I was younger, I used to, oh my God, they remember, I used to put my kids through, we had a summer camp for 14 years. Year one, we were tyrants. We were rehearsing them to death, we were killing them. We had kids in there rehearsing 8 hours. They were like Fame. We had like a school like Fame. We were going straight though. They were going to be straight. We were training them. Watch it. We were training them to be great without my guidance. Because I hate them programs to be like, and next we'll have, and then it'd be the kids, but the parents all in the way, kids dancing, but the parents got their hand doing it. It ain't really the kids, it's the parents' show, but we act like it's a kids' show. Y'all like y'all ain't seen this stuff before. It says the kids program, but the parents all on it. And so we used to rehearse them as though they were young professionals. We ain't know no better. We used to rehearse them like they were young professionals. However, here's what I'm saying. We learn after year one, it's gonna work out. I've seen God to know, and this is for you. I've seen God do this enough to know that the infirmity always comes before the miracle. You had to get sick. She had to get sick. Hear me. In order to see God walk on water, there had to have been a storm. So here is where I challenge you to not lose faith in the storm. Because if he did it before, he'll do it again. Don't lose faith in the storm. Don't lose faith because you can't see him. Don't lose faith because you don't recognize him. That's only a platform. Hear me. Your problem is only a platform for him to perform. Your problem, hear me, your problem is only the platform for him to perform. Because you won't always recognize God unless it's a storm. Because when you don't have any trouble, you don't pray. When you can pay your bill, you don't need God. When there is no infirmity, you don't need God. When you can handle it in your own power, you don't need God. So sometimes I think the best position that God wants us to have is a leaning position. You know, we come from, don't get it twisted, I came from the hood a little bit. So that 10 toes down, that's how we do. 10 toes down. We want to be 10 toes down, but that's in your own power. 10 toes down will cause you to miss a lot. God don't want you 10 toes down. He wants you palms up. The text says, come. So Peter got out of the boat and he walked on the water and came to Jesus. Again, that's courageous in and of itself. However, if you see this as just an action, you miss it. Peter getting out of the boat was not just him being different. It's the fact that he made a decision. That he believed that what he asked for, he was actually going to see. Too many of us are sowing seeds based on the level that you're on, not on the level that God has called you to. I'm going to say that again for y'all who missed it. Too many of us are sowing seeds based on the level that we're on, not on the level that God is believing us to be on. How does this make sense? How do we get the seeds? Peter had no business walking on water. Peter had absolutely no business walking on water. That was a space that he shouldn't even thought possible. He never seen it done before. He knows that God is different. He shouldn't be able to do the things that God does. That was a level that should have been above him. But his step was a seed. Not on the level that he was on, but the level that he aspired to. Not his step, not his money. His step was a seed. Not on the level that he was on, but the level he aspired to be on. I don't know what level you want or you're believing God for, but here is your opportunity to take a step in that direction. Here is your opportunity to take a step in that direction, not the level that you're on. I don't know what you're believing God for, but here's your opportunity to put a seed on that. And now I'm talking money. Here is your opportunity to put a seed on that. Do me a favor. Here's the thing. One thing about good ground is that I don't care. Right? Good ground and bad ground. Here's the difference. Bad ground, the Bible teaches us the bad ground, if you put a seed on this ground, if it's bad ground, the seed, the weeds, and all that stuff will tear it up, kill it. It kills the seed. But good ground, you put seed on that good ground, it produces harvest. Whatever you believe in God for, this ain't going to me, this is going to your church or your pastor. I don't know how y'all want to do that. But do me a favor. Whatever you believe God for, put a seed on it. Because, Pastor, here it is. Sometimes people have to put some skin in the game. Whatever this ministry is going to be, it shouldn't rest all on your back. Whatever y'all believe God to do for trap ministries, you got to be willing to invest into it. You got to let your seed do the talking. God so loved the world that he gave. What did he give? Did he give something that was expendable? Did he give something that was easy?